Hi, I'm Tammy at All About Living, and today we're going to have just a homemade chicken soup. It's going to have some pasta in it and some veggies and just whatever I have on hand or whatever you have on hand. Really doesn't matter. As long as you season it, it's going to turn out great. Okay, the first thing I did was I took a whole broiler, and I'm gonna make like 2 or 3 different meals out of it. So I just put it in a couple of quarts of water and let it boil for an hour. So it's ready now. All we have to do is tear enough meat off for tonight's dinner and put the rest away. Okay, we're gonna use just what's in my fridge. I have some already cut up carrots, and I have some celery. I have a half an onion left from lunch, so we're going to use that. And I had 5 little tiny green onions, and I just cut those up, and we're going to put those in there. I have some Diatal pasta that says 12-1-21, so I really need to use it. So that's what's going in there for the pasta. Some salt, some pepper, and some turmeric, and we're going to call it a good soup supper. Okay, the first thing we're going to do now, since everything's already prepped except my chicken, we're going to get this eye on, and we're going to put it on a medium heat. And we're going to let this pan get good and hot, because I'm going to saute those veggies. And while we're waiting on that pan to get hot, we're going to take this chicken out of this hot water, because it's super hot. I just finished boiling it. And we're going to try and not tear it all to pieces to get it out, but no guarantee. Okay. Oh, it's gonna work, y'all. Okay, I'm trying to drain as much of that juice back into that pan as I can and get it onto the cutting board, which I still have lots of juice coming out, but best I can do. We're gonna let that sit a minute and let it cool down some. Okay, my pan's good and hot now. I'm going to put about a tablespoon of oil in there and a tablespoon of butter. Now we're going to put our onions in there, the rest of those onions. And I'm going to drop about a cup of carrots in there. Yep, and some nice celery, about a cup of that. Maybe a little over a cup. And we're just going to give those a stir and let them get kind of soft. We're not cooking them all the way, we're just getting them soft and limp. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and get this pan hot. As y'all know, my cast iron needs to be hot before I ever put anything in it, ever. Alright, let's get that. And we're going to put that on a medium low heat. And we're going to start that pan getting hot. And while that's happening, I'm going to come over here to my cutting board, and I'm going to slide my chicken out of my way so I can make these croutons. Now I have this bread that I stuck in the fridge in the back, and then forgot I had it. So it will make perfect croutons, because the staler the bread, the better the croutons. Alright, so we're going to cut this into just little small square pieces. Alright, and we're just cutting this any old way. It really doesn't, there's no right or wrong way to cut a crouton. As long as they're kind of uniform. And y'all, this has been one more day. It's been busy, lots to do. I actually tried to make a video earlier today I made some homemade zucchini relish. I did the whole thing with no sound, and there's no way to fix it. It's just, so I'm gonna make some more in a couple days, and maybe we can get it on camera with sound. It just amazes me, because we are not professional by any stretch of the imagination. We're doing this like by the seat of our pants, and I'm sure you can tell. Let's get these cut up now. And I also have some rye bread, and I'm going to cut that rye bread up too. I'll put that in my croutons also. Pan's hot. We're going to the stove. Okay, a little olive oil, about 2 tablespoons. About 2 tablespoons of good salted butter. I'll let that get all combined and hot. While I'm at that, I'm gonna come over and stir my veggies. Just to be sure I'm not sticking. All right, now I'm all good and melted, and I'm just gonna drop that bread right into that pan. So, and I know this looks like a lot, and I'm still going to add those other ones to it, the rye, but they'll keep in a glass jar for several days, and so we'll just have them for another meal. Okay, I'm going to use about 3 pieces of this rye. I'm going to use the tail end and 2 slices. And we're just going to get that in there. All right, here we go. Let's get that dropped in there. Oops. Get the rest of this. All right, give it a little stir and get it mixed up. Now at this point, you're going to need to watch it. You don't want to burn them. You don't want, that's it, you just don't want to burn them. So you just keep flipping them and turning them until they're all nice and brown on all sides. If you think you're getting too dry, you don't have enough oil or butter in there, then drop some more in. You just don't want them to be wet. You just want them to just not stick, not burn, but be nice and pretty and golden brown. Okay, my veggies are good and done now. Or not totally done, but I mean they're nice and golden. And now I'm going to put my chicken broth that I cooked that chicken in. I'm going to put it through a sieve. And then I'm going to put it right into this bowl, into this pot. Okay, I'm just going to run it right through there and make sure I don't have any bones or anything that I don't want in my soup. And I'm going to pour the whole thing. There we go. See what I mean? You just keep stirring. Just keep stirring. All right, now that we've got our broth in our pot, we'll want to turn it up on high. Okay, we've got our pot on high, we have our pot on high, and we're going to let it come to a boil. And we're going to keep turning our croutons. And I think I am going to add just a little more olive oil. Okay, to add more oil, you'll just make a little well in the middle so you're not pouring it directly on the bread. And just put another tablespoon in there. Whisk it around so that the oil goes all the way across the pan. And we should be good to go. Okay, now it's time to salt. And we're just gonna, I don't measure, I just kind of run it across there a couple of times. And pepper, the same thing. I'm just gonna run it till it looks like I have enough. You can always add, but you can never take it out. Right. And I'm going to add just a little turmeric just to make a nice pretty color, and it's good for you. There we go. That's probably about a half a teaspoon, not very much. We're just adding color. And I got these on wrong. I'm getting close to a boil, but I'm not there. All right. And we're still stirring our croutons. All right, hopefully this thing is cool enough now for me to handle. Oh yeah, it's good. And I'm just gonna take and disjoint this broiler, and I'm gonna take the skin off. And don't discard that skin. You bought it, you paid for it, you use it. We're gonna make some chicken broth out of that. And we're just gonna take this chicken and get it off this bone without getting any gristle or anything into our soup. And we're going to save the bones too, because we're going to use those to make our chicken broth. And it is still hot. It's still hot. Maybe I should have stuck it in the fridge for a minute or something. There we go. I'm just tearing that up. Nothing fancy. I guess if you wanted to, you could cut it, but as you stir in the pot, it's going to loosen it up even more. So I'm just going to tear it loosely and get it in the pot. All right. Okay, let's get that all in there. There we go. One more piece. And I'm going to take some meat off of that back and put it in there too. And then I'm going to save the breast for another meal. And then all of the skin and all of the bones will be used to make bone broth, chicken broth. There we go. Okay, now I have the meat off the back of the chicken. I'm going to slide that in there too. And right off the edges, everywhere where I can get it, except for the breast, because we're going to use that another time. There we go. Now we're going to one more time. Work on these croutons. Just flip them. Make sure they're not burning and that they're just browning and drying out. Okay, now we're going to put, now that my water's good and boiling, I'm going to put this diatal pasta in there. And I'm going to put about half of this jar because that's all Randy and I'll need. If you have a bigger family, obviously, you know, you can put the whole bag. Okay, and I'm still stirring my croutons to make sure, whoop, there went one. Guess Roscoe can have that one. And we're just going to keep letting them brown. We're just going to give that a stir, make sure that pasta is loose and not sticking to each other. And then we're just going to let this continue to boil until the pasta is done. And there you have it. Okay, I just put everything all in a Ziploc. The chicken breast for tomorrow's lunch or tomorrow's dinner. And my chicken bones, because when I bone that, then it'll all be together. And I'll either go ahead and do the bone broth, or I may wait till I do another chicken, and then at that point I'll put it in the freezer. But for now, it's going in the fridge. I needed to add just a little more salt at my interim taste test. And we'll let that cook for a few more minutes. And then I'll check it again for a final go round. Okay, my croutons are where I want them. See, hear them? They're nice and crunchy. And that's the way I want them. So I went ahead and turned it off, but I didn't take them out. I'm just going to let them sit there and continue to dry. While we're waiting on that, I just wanted to tell you likes are free. And if you like us and you like seeing the videos on how I do pantry cooking with no fancy ingredients or prepackaged stuff, give us a, subscribe to our channel. We'd love to have you. Leave a comment. Tell me what you want me to make. If I know how, we'll give it a shot.
Why are you looking at me?
Why are you looking at me? Alright, my pasta is done, which means my soup is done. So we are ready to bowl up. If y'all been with me this long, go ahead and hit that like button. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.